Since we can't post photos here, message me if you want to see the images where this entity uses Snapchat filters to say hello. I need to write this down and share it because this is a completely different experience from just ghosts, angels, demons, and all that. I feel like you'll definitely both be intrigued and confused if you make it through this entire story. This is a long story about an entity that has been attached to me for roughly 2.5 to 3 years now. And honestly, I am so sensitive to energies that I was never really terrified or felt the need to cleanse the energy away. That's because I have a very different and abstract spiritual belief, shaped by personal experiences, that is. I genuinely believe that whatever this entity is, it was never human and does not belong to our realm. I'll go into more detail later, but this being mocks almost Christian ideologies and angels and demons perfectly. It isn't negative or positive. I believe it has no gender, although it gives more of a masculine presence instead of a feminine one. So, with all this being said, let's begin. The first experience I had with this entity recently clicked with me, and it's shifted how I honestly understand our connection. At first, I thought it became attached to me because I was using a Ouija board, but a few days afterward, I began noticing the presence more. But no, it wasn't that time. I later remembered that I had been on a guided third eye meditation that's no longer on YouTube. I'm honestly glad it's gone because if this happened to someone else, not as experienced with energy, I'd be worried for them. That meditation was about 4.5 years ago. I remember lying in my bed listening to the video's instructions. It had you breathe in a very unusual way, almost as shaking your breath. So, I played the audio that I've never heard in any other meditation, guided or not, and I've done this countless times. During it, I felt and visualized a large black hand with long nails on the left side of my chest. It felt like I was sitting up in bed, and then I felt a hand gently push me back down. Even though my heart was racing, I didn't open my eyes. I wanted to stay in the meditative state. When the voice gave cues to wake up, I finally sat up and everything I looked at had this strange purple aura around it. That becomes important later. I didn't really notice the hand or the energy again until a few years later, after using this Ouija board. A few days after that, I began to feel a very angry masculine presence in the corner of my garage, the same garage I had used this board in. At first, I didn't pay much attention to it. I've had spiritual experiences since my childhood and was very accustomed to these energies by then. Eventually, these energies started to feel more comfortable around me. I still felt a heavy pressure in my chest and my stomach, but it wasn't dark or negative anymore. After a few months of sensing it daily, it began, lack of the better term, to mess with me. Not in a harmful way, but a mischievous, almost childlike, yet powerful way. I strongly believe that this is the most powerful entity I've ever encountered, and possibly ever will. It always lingered behind me when I was walking toward the garage door. Many times when I went to open it, the door would just close on its own. I could feel this presence behind me. That's when I started to speak to it aloud. I don't usually give verbal responses, if any. The entity usually responded by doing something physical or shifting the energy I feel. It seems to prefer using doors to get my attention, but it has physically touched me, just like during that first meditation and a few others. One night around 2 a.m., my friend and I were at the grocery store parking lot in our small little town, riding our bikes to enjoy the summer air. I closed my eyes while standing over my bike, and suddenly, I felt that same black, sharp-nailed hand gently on my lower back. I snapped my eyes open. My friend immediately noticed that something had happened. I asked if she had touched me, and she hadn't. She had been beside me the entire time. After that, she started occasionally sensing the entity's energies too. A couple weeks later, while driving, she saw that hand come up beside my face. That same summer, we took a trip with 2 other people. Near our Airbnb was a small pond. Around 3 a.m., one of the others yelled, "Hail Satan," into the woods near the pond. I remember telling my friend that this entity was planting the idea in my head that we shouldn't go in. I felt extremely heavy. She gave me a look I won't forget, then said that she could see the dark entity wrapping its arms around my shoulders, holding me back. We went in anyway. A light on the Unity shed flashed on and off 3 times. My friend and I knew immediately that we had to leave. The next day, the 2 less spiritually inclined people left, and my friend and I returned to the pond. We both felt a strong pull to go back. We didn't notice that the bench we had sat on the night prior was actually a memorial bench. The others had disrespected that space, and that's why the entity had tried to get me to leave. So, fast forward to October 2019. I had just started dating my significant other. My friend, her boyfriend, and I were all at my SO's house, sitting at the kitchen table. The door behind us opened by itself. My friend turned to me and said, "Hey." I replied, "That's not very nice, sir. Close that door." To everyone's shock, the door immediately closed. That was the moment that I knew this entity was very, very real. It doesn't just contact or interact with me. It reveals itself to those around me too. Other smaller experiences included the shower curtain blowing open while I was inside, the screen door holding open even with no wind, a door near my entryway always opening when I haven't acknowledged the entity in a while. While watching The Nun, the entity mimicked the hands over the face in the coffin scene, again mocking Christian demonology. It has this purple aura, just like I saw after the meditation. That's how I eventually realized it had probably become attached to me during that experience. As of now, this entity is still with me. Just yesterday I was feeling down and I suddenly got a full body goosebumps and chills. I could feel the entity directly behind me, not draining me, not scaring me, just there, almost like it was trying to confront me. I've decided not to cleanse it away. It's not harming anyone. It's not draining me. If it doesn't want to leave and I don't feel like the need to make it, then I'm fine with it, staying. It's been fully attached to me for nearly 3 years now. At this point, it's a normal part of my daily life. If you made it to the end of this story, thank you. I'm glad I could keep your interest. I'd love to hear your thoughts, questions, or experiences in return. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. This might be a little bit short and I do apologize. I only had enough time to record this story before I left on this work trip. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It's very interesting and yeah, kind of odd. But if you liked it and you would like to see more of these, make sure to like, comment, and if you're new to this channel and the algorithm is nice, make sure to subscribe. I've got a lot of content and a lot more coming, and I promise that even though this one's short, I will make it up on Friday. Yes, I promise. But make sure to check out the links in the description, Twitter, Instagram, yada yada, and if you have any stories and would like to submit them, make sure to post them in, well, make sure to send them to my Gmail. But yeah, stay safe, stay scary, and I'll see you in the next one.